All right, I'm done with those. It was fun for a bit, but now we're not doing it anymore.
You little scutch. You scutchiest scutch of all scutches.
Listen, I may be turning 44 years old in less than an hour on the East Coast, but I am still a giant child.
Look, it's important
I'm not.
to stay
I'm
a
not Sean.
giant child.
I'm not Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp is also a giant child because he decided to go watch the Bengals on Monday Night Football.
He did. He's a season ticket holder, baby.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things of like, hey, when I have the money and I can do whatever I want when I'm an adult, I'm gonna buy season tickets to my favorite football team, and even if they suck, I'm gonna go to every single game.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's doing. Good for him. And this with me, as always, is Denise Salcedo. Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's Kate. I listen, I am such a scutch, a scamp, if you will, that I decided to.
I'm Denise. I'm all adorable and tiny and cute and good at my job and normal.
Adorable and tiny and cute and good at my job.
And
unlike,
normal.
Let's say, us, because we are not, as evidenced by this. It's me, it's Alex and Kate, and we're going to talk about Raw,
which was a roller coaster of an episode. But I will remind you that for now, this is your Raw review for Monday, September 25th, one day before this guy's birthday, which we will get to see the turn of at midnight here on the stream in all likelihood. But get in your super chats, get in your humper chats at humperchats.com. We'll also remind you to leave a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. It helps people find us on the algorithm. And Lord knows I ain't pulling Denise Salcedo number. So the more you guys can help us out, the better. We appreciate it as always. We'll also invite you to subscribe to Fightful Select, which now has annual billing. Get it all out of the way with at once and get a nice little discount in there. Head over to FightfulSelect.com. Tons of news going up on Fightful Select as always. A lot of contract news, a lot of extra details about some not so fun stuff with the releases. We never, ever, ever have the names of who was released paywall. That feels gross, but sometimes there's contextual things that are behind the paywall there. Sean does bonus streams. He's been doing a lot of those late night streams and bonus episodes of all sorts of stuff, including pay-per-view post shows with the two of us behind the paywall. And normally this show is behind the paywall on Monday nights. So if you like what you see, if you want an alternative to the people that we were pretending to be in the beginning, join us on Fightful Select. We have so much fun back there. We have our own canon. It's gotten out of control, but we have an absolute blast. And subscribe on this YouTube channel as well. I know we ask a lot of you guys at the beginning of these shows, but
what you mean is we have our own through line of a story or lore.
We have lore,
we have our own canon. I thought you meant like a very large gun that shoots big balls and like massive, giant Maurice purse size balls. Those, we do not have a cannon that shoots these out of it. If we did, though, I'm fairly sure I'd be on several FBI's most wanted lists because I would just shoot that everywhere. Listen, we do a thing. You're gonna love it, or you very likely are gonna hate it. But if you're here, hang out with us. It's fun.
I will say the last two times we've stepped in for Raw, this one had a really, really strong first hour.
Yeah.
A not so great middle hour.
Then you jinxed it.
I did. And the third hour I felt like was a little bit mixed. It was a very Goldilocks episode. And the last one we did was actually not the worst either. So we're not as sour as we might be. But this was like, I feel like anytime I end up doing Raw reviews on the main for some reason, I'm like, this is such a reminder of how difficult it is to book a 3-hour wrestling show. Like it just feels like it's impossible to get away from parts of it where the episode is going to feel thin. But we're going to talk about all of it.
We do puns on Tuesday nights, and that's a really fun way for us to get a few extra. People like to send in the chat money to and put in puns.
Share their pun of choice.
So on account of Kate's newfound identity, vegetable puns. Vegetable puns. We've done meat puns several times and gotten a good response out of it.
We have.
We're
and
doing now we're doing
Nia
veggie
Jax
puns.
did say squash a lot in the middle of this.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
we could
listen,
do vegetable puns. We'll do all the food groups at some point.
We did have two big meaty men slapping meat. I don't know what's the opposite of that for vegan.
Well, it's not. See, big meaty men slapping meat is not a byproduct of animal suffering. It's a byproduct of human wrestling enjoyment. So I think that it still falls under the vegan category. No animals were harmed in a big meaty men slapping meat.
Very good. Hunter Tillman sending in this particular Humper chat on the worst possible day. Hi, Sean. Off topic, but what did you think of Doja Cat's new album, Scarlet? And what would you say is your favorite song off of it so far?
We're going to talk for 10 minutes about this Doja Cat album that probably neither of us have listened to. Though she is quite good.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Doja Cat is?
I'm 44 years old. I have no idea. Is that a recording artist of some kind?
Yeah, she's actually quite good.
Is it an actual cat?
It's not an actual cat, unfortunately.
All right, well then I'm out. I'm done. I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry.
Sean's obsessed with her. She's actually pretty good, but I do get her and Dua Lipa confused all the time.
The thing, Hunter, it's definitely not. You're not dumb. Kate, like Kate and I are here. A week ago, Sean was like, "Hey, can you fill in for me? I'm going to a Monday Night Football game," and we both forgot about it until this afternoon. So
no, I remembered.
You remembered? Okay.
Yeah, I just set up the broadcast, so I was in my calendar. But let's just make something up. What was your favorite track, Alex?
Bingo Bango Bongo. Gosh, I love that tune.
Wow, you could have just been like, I liked the third one.
No, I made it up. I made it up. Listen, everybody who's older than me and knows who Doja Cat is, that's great. Do you have any connection to the world of pop music? Because I do not. I don't listen to it at all. Listen, I was listening to Dan Fogelberg today and loving every minute of it.
Is he
that's how old I am.
Is
he
the flamingo?
On the inside? No,
that's not. Who's Dan Fogelberg?
No. Dan
Leader
Fogelberg.
of the band?
Leader of the band. That's right.
Okay, I got it.
Leader of the band. Yeah. Listen, I am 43 in actual years. On the inside, I am a 68-year-old woman.
But also a child.
Yes, but also a child. So
we're getting a lot into identities. You're calling me being vegan an identity thing.
Listen, we should probably talk about Raw. I mean, Sean hates it when we do this.
Well, then he should show up to work and not football games because we are out of our minds.
Right. Ricardo the Firefly says, "Happy birthday, friend. Thanks for everything." No, thank you, Ricardo the Firefly. You've been with the SGS since near the beginning, if not the actual beginning. Meet Norma says, "Happy birthday, Alex. May Gabagool be with you and with your spirit, sir." Absolutely. Orion Ben 666 says, "All tonight needed was Johnny War Games. Chaotic. We need some Johnny something. That's for sure."
Johnny, where are you?
We'll talk about that. He's missing in action.
Johnny, miss you.
Yeah. So Cody starts out because he's got to talk about that Jey Uso, don't you know? There was the scuttlebutt, the rumors on the web were that that they're planning something for Cody with Omos, and they still might be. But he attacked him at a house show over the weekend. And I was like, the adversity has gone out of control. If you're saying like, man, how do we show how much the adversity that this man is going through before we can give him back to Roman again sometime in 2025? We have to have him. He's already gone through Brock. He's already squashed Dom twice. What else is there to do but go through a literal giant?
I mean, I would argue Gunther, but
not good things, Kate. They are firmly against good things happening. So no, it's we have to be. People were like, "Oh my God, it's Omos," and so I fully expected MVP to interrupt Cody Rhodes out of nowhere
Did not
and bring
happen.
out Omos, and that did not happen.
Something really good happened, I thought.
Yeah, it did not happen. Remember what happened? This has felt like the longest possible episode of Raw, because the
Well, we
first
had
hour
the
was really good, and then the
sure
last 2 hours did just
fell down.
dragged. Yeah.
Well, I liked him saying we're not in the bottom of the third inning anymore. I thought that was
Well,
really good.
yeah.
And
I don't
it
think you get to. I don't think you get to decide that, Cody.
No, but I don't think he says it unless maybe there is some plan in place. So he kind of indicated that he's going to be going to SmackDown finally, right? That this
he said somebody's going to be going to SmackDown, and then Adam Pearce later was on the phone and was like, "No, I don't know who it is yet." So
I mean, it's got to be this guy.
It has to be.
Right? It has to be, especially if you're going to send him out there to say things like that, which is the right call. Now, I don't have faith that they'll do this because I think they want Roman to drop the title at WrestleMania. However, the thing that would make the most sense would be for him to drop the title at Royal Rumble to Cody, and then, assuming The Rock is going to be there, fight The Rock separate of the titles. It's not needed. I don't have faith they're going to do that, and I get it.
They're definitely not going to do that. No.
You have The Rock. You're going to want him to show up at WrestleMania. You've had this title on this guy forever. You're going to want him to probably drop it on the biggest stage that there is. So I get it. But if they're building to something around that where Cody's coming back, that makes sense. And it also makes sense from the just like trade value standpoint, I guess, of like, you've been talking about this. Man, they've been operating without that draft pick for like a month at this point. You got to send someone over there soon.
Like a player to be named later, but like how much later?
Way later.
How much later? Because it's a long time. But
this was good. I love when Cody sounds like a human being, and he sounded like a human being in a lot of this segment. I get frustrated when he sounds like a presidential candidate robot. But I feel like he gets in that mode when his creative doesn't really make sense, and he's had a really long stretch where his creative hasn't made sense. So when he has something to kind of sink his teeth into is when he shines the brightest. And I thought this was a better promo from him than we've been seeing, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's got he gets interrupted by the Judgment Day, who are gonna come after him. But then Jey Uso comes out.
Why are they?
So he's got backup because Jay's his friend, and then out comes Sami and Kevin, and then it's 4-on-3, and then JD McDonuts comes out with 2 chairs. Because it's 4-on-3, so the Judgment Day decides they're going to back down, be little wuss puss cowards. And then JD McDonuts comes out and says, no, now it's even. It's 4-on-4. Gosh, I wonder what else kind of match might have 4-on-4 coming up in a couple of months. But anyway, he says, it's 4-on-4, and I brought the equalizers. I brought advantages. We've got chairs. And JD McDonuts says, hey, Finn Balor, you want to get in the ring and let's go beat him up with chairs? And Finn says, absolutely. And Dominik says, I'm just along for the ride, guys. I'll do whatever you say. And Damian Priest is like, no, we were supposed to be wuss puss cowards. Come on, guys. I'm in charge while Rhea's in Australia. And I say wuss puss cowards is the way of the day. He says, oh, geez, now I got to get in the ring and help you guys out. But wait a minute. By the time I got down there, the 3-on-4 didn't go so well for our guys. Guess I should have gone down there with them when they went, and then it would have been a fair fight, but we had the chairs. But because he waited so long, by the time he got down there, his 3 friends were kicked out of the ring, so then it was 1-on-4. And then later he has the nerve to blame JD McDonuts for it. Listen, this is how bad the creative is surrounding the Judgment Day. They are having Damian Priest do things that make me actively side with JD McDonuts. I don't want to be, but I have to be objective and call him as I see him.
So with all of this, nobody can bring multiple chairs anywhere. like my Zack Sabre Jr. fandom is such that if you're not wearing an entire suit of chairs and yelling about it, I have very little interest. But he not only even the numbers game, he gave them the advantage with his chairs. So God bless you, JG, doing it. This just it's not for me. We discussed this week after week because they give us the same thing week after week. Now, I do think it's important that if you're going to have group dissension, there's people that are smart and that there's people that are not smart.
Right.
And then there's people that both seem kind of smart but have different vantage points. So Damian Priest saying, what is the point of doing this now? In my opinion, he was like, what do we have to gain from this right now? This makes no sense. We're not getting involved. And then JD McDonough saying, let's scrap, man. I'm here. I got chairs. I'm here to even out. So I do appreciate that about it. I just don't like overbooking. I don't like Jeff Jarrett. I don't like House of Torture in New Japan. I don't like these rather rinse repeat things. And especially when this comes on the heels of, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on Select. So sorry if this is repetitive for people, but like we have had for so long in WWE already an overbooked stable that has all the gold in it already, and now it just feels like you've done that but made it Team Spooky. Like we already saw this with the Bloodline, all of the gold being centralized and there being overbooked matches and interference and all these things, and that's kind of still going on. Now you've just moved that to Raw and you have badass Rhea Ripley leading it, so I guess like I get that, but I do feel like I just watched this, right? So it's repetitive within itself, and it's also repetitive within creative, in my opinion.
I honestly did like I think that they're having Damian Priest do some stuff that I'm like, okay, whatever. But I do think he's doing the best he can with this. There's the moment where he's like, you caused me to take a beating. You're out of the you are never in the Judgment Day. You're not going to be in the Judgment Day. Get the hell out. I don't care whose friend you are. That was the one thing I was like, I wanted Finn to be like in the moment, because this all to me also makes Finn look bad. I wanted Finn to be like, he's my friend. And if he's out, I'm out too. And then Dominik be like, but guys, Rhea's not here. I don't know what to do, guys. Because that would make me feel better if he was like that. But I thought that him doing that to JD made sense. Finn not sticking up for JD in the moment didn't. So like, that's a weird thing is they're really good sometimes about giving certain members of a faction like a sensical thing to do, and then the people are good at that, but then they give a nonsensical thing for somebody else to do, or in this case to not do, and it kind of like makes the whole segment like even out to be meh.
Well, Alex, if anybody did that to you, I would stand up for them. I would not be like Finn Balor. So I just want you to know that if Sean came in here and was like, you weren't a part of this, you were never our friend, I'm taking your silver play button back, I'd be like, hey, back off, buddy.
It's true.
Because I'm real friends.
It's true. Yep. Yes, very good. Here, listen, we have some good veggie puns. So
we got
far.
some really good veggie puns.
And I'm going to start it out with this one, Chris. Shallot Flair is really, really good.
That's so good because it's a veggie deep cut. That's a good one. A shallot is a deep cut. That's good.
Ricardo the Firefly says broccoli Lesnar. Obviously.
Broccoli Lesnar.
Broccoli Lesnar.
My client.
Insert clever Tegan Knox pun, says Teg Plant Knox.
It's your day.
No, it's so great. Robert Lyle says radishing Rick Rude. Listen, if you're here and you have no idea what this is and you don't love that, I'm very sorry, but this is what we love here. Radishing Rick Rude is why I exist.
It's beautiful.
B Sweet says Romaine Lettuce Reigns. Just Romaine Reigns is really good. Lieutenant Photo says Mia Yam.
Oh, Mia Yam's a very good one too.
Mia Yam is very good.
For non-obvious ones. I respect it very much.
Jesse Ozog says Rutabaga Stalks versus the Machine Broccoli Cabbage. Like who's Brian Cage.
What was Rutabaga Stalks?
I don't know who Rutabaga Stalks is. Who's
Rutabaga you got like four veggies.
Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks.
Very
Rutabaga.
Okay.
Rutabaga Stalks versus the Machine Broccoli Cabbage instead of
You
Brian
got
Cage.
4
That's
veggies
good.
into
That's
one
a lot.
food.
That's a lot. Orion Ben 666 is Tech Cornstalk 2000. And
I love Techno Team 2000 so much, Alex.
you do.
He always texts me up.
Chris Pereira is now 3 for 3 because he also has in here Artichoke Slam and Yam Yam Bigelow. Honestly, though, I think it has to be Yam Yam Yigolo because you got to get the 3 alliterations again.
It's
but
true.
But honestly, Yam Yam, I can't front. That's amazing. We got a response from Sean for the Doja Cat album. He says, I loved it. I like more of her rap-based music, and I enjoy her addressing her criticisms with an I don't give a fuck via a bunch of her songs.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I just didn't want to put words in his mouth.
His favorite song is Paint the Town Red, and also, I'm not even sure, am I allowed to say this on the air? Wet Vagina. I didn't know that was a song that Doja Cat had. That seems a bit much. All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. Listen. I appreciate that there's no like WAP or anything.
That's just the name of the song is like, look, this is what it is.
This is we're not even putting it under code. It's just Wet Vagina. We're just calling it that.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, good. All right, listen. Mike the jeweler with a very generous super chat says, hello Alex and hi to the beautiful Kate. Thanks for ditching us SRS for football. Yeah. LOL, Raw was all right. Ending was like, wah. But I hope all is well with everybody in the Fightful family. Happy early birthday, Alex. Thank you so much, Mike the jeweler.
Thank you for your generous chat. And if Bobby Lashley ever sends me a suit, I'm coming to you for my watch needs because I'm going to need a cool watch to go with my suit. But I don't think he's sending me a suit.
No, I don't think he is either. I mean, he's but he can send you one of the ones from Montez and Angelo Dawkins because he says, give me back the suits.
Give me back my suits.
He can't return them. They're way past the return date.
Yeah.
So he could like send them to you if he's not going to use them.
He came out with a rack of suits for them. All I want is one lousy little suit from Bobby Lashley. Please at Bobby Lashley at Fight Bobby and tell him to send me a suit. I just want one. Anyway, Raw.
Speaking of the opposite of vegetables, meat wars between Bronson Reed and Otis. This was fun. I'm glad to see they didn't do some weird 50-50 or a weird distraction thing to allow Otis to get the Alpha Academy's win back or something. They just had Bronson Reed win via the Tsunami.
Wish we got to hear.
Wish I got to hear that. That's great.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you.
This is interesting what they are doing, because they have siloed Seth off in this program with Shinsuke. Like it's there. That's it. There's nobody else can touch that. That we're going to be doing that for a while because I feel like the next match they have won't be the last one they have. Or if there's a title change, it'll be like a whole different thing for Shinsuke to be doing. Whatever. So that what they're doing is they're making Gunther's title the most sought after thing. Everyone wants it. Gable wants another shot at it. Bronson Reed, by virtue of beating both Gable and Otis, has lined himself up as a very likely challenger in some kind of triple threat or multi-man match. And then Tommaso Ciampa has basically declared, I am coming for that next. But Gable wants another shot at it. Like Gunther being the guy who's had the title forever and has come close to defeat a couple of times in the past couple of months, makes him, everybody thinks, okay, that I can be the guy to do it. I want to be the guy to topple that mountain. I think that there's some really cool thing you can do there. I liked this match for what it was. The right guy won. Bronson Reed, it was cool. Good for them. And we get to see more things coming out of it.
really liked it. We haven't gotten to see Otis in just a match in a really long time. So it was nice to see Otis in a match. This was a whole heck of a lot of fun. This is what you wanted it to be, right? You got two Mack trucks in there. What I also like, though, is Otis and Bronson Reed have such different personalities that it was really fun to not have. I feel like so many times where we get like big dude versus big dude, especially, I hate to like quantify it this way, but like under the WWE umbrella, especially, I think it's like they're often the same type of guy. It's really refreshing to have like big, goofy guy you're rooting for. He's like an enormous dude, but still an underdog a lot of the time. Like that's really fun versus, had started as kind of a mercenary, just going around kicking people's butts. So that was really refreshing just to have that balance in this match of the face heel dynamic. And you're right. This is all I kind of want out of wrestling. This is for me stuff of it had a clean ending. One guy was better than the other. The world's not ending. It made sense for the story. They can continue as if they want. They can steer away from it if they want. It got a little bit of time and we moved on. Like, I feel like wrestling is so great when it's this simple. And if we could keep things this simple, most of the stuff that I thought was really great tonight, I thought was the simple stuff.
Yeah. Agreed. Stan says, "Happy birthday, Alex. Remember to eat your carrots and drink your Ovaltine." I will do the first one. I do like carrots. I've never had Ovaltine. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of powdery, like chocolatey drink mixes. I'm a big fan of those.
Did you ever spend an entire Christmas season solving a puzzle listening to a radio about your
No, I did not do that. No, I did not. This, since we were just talking about Maxxine Dupri, we on last night we did a special on the Fightful Select.
FightfulSelect.com?
Yes.
Where you can subscribe for just $5 or now has annual billing?
Now it's annual billing where you can save almost 2 months worth by billing for a full year.
Wow.
Who would say no to that, considering you can get me and also mostly her talking about wrestling several times a week? Last night I talked about SmackDown, the 2-hour Rampage, Collision, and the card for Wrestle Dream, and then talked a little bit about the releases that I hadn't gotten to get into because I hadn't been in front of a microphone since Wednesday last week. And I was going through all the releases, and there was people that we just straight up forgot to mention that I wanted to like have a whole separate thing about, and then I forgot. So I'm going to bring it up here briefly. Mansoor and Mace did everything they possibly could with this. I thought that gimmick was dead in the water as soon as it was given to them, because what they wanted it to be was come out for 10 minutes during a 2-hour SmackDown and get booed for doing a fashion show and never wrestle. And that's a great way for people to just hate seeing you, as opposed to like, oh, I get it. This is supposed to get heat and it's funny and it's fun to boo at them. If you just stop a SmackDown that has way too little time to feature everybody's favorites and instead have people to stand there and do a fashion show, it's a great way to get everybody hated. And once they were like, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore. You guys can have your own YouTube show, though. And they just showed during the entire YouTube show how amazing they were at their comedic timing, their understanding of the character, the motivations, the lore of the character. So great stuff. And then they were completely shelved. Once Maxxine Dupri moved over to Alpha Academy, they were just shelved entirely and weren't allowed to be on TV. They were saying some of their streams, they got like people were being yelled at because they let the models be fodder in battle royals. There was an edict given. They were never allowed to be on television, even just being thrown over the top rope in a battle royal. People were getting in trouble for allowing them on television. But behind the scenes, they were pitching really, really great stuff. That vignette that they shot themselves, where they were like fixers that heels would hire to like intimidate referees and stuff. It was brilliant. Like, far and away would have been the best thing on any episode of Raw over the last year. And they produced it, they showed it, like, we've done all the work. We came up with the characters. We have our own costumes. We've given you everything you need to know exactly who the characters are. We can work with any heel you want. It'll be great. Here it is in a package deal. Here, look how great it is. Somebody watched it. I'm thinking probably several people watched it. And they said, nah, we're not, no, we don't want that. And honestly, if you do all that work and pitch gold to people and they don't want to put you on TV, you're better off being somewhere else, because those two guys could run another company's, like, there's a wonderful little niche that every major company, or even minor company, needs to have, which is really great comedy heels. And those two guys would just knock it out of the park.
But they also pitched undashing Cody Rhodes, right? And I get why they didn't want to do that, because I think they want this chapter of Cody to be untouched from any of that stuff. But like, they clearly have some very undervalued and underappreciated creative bones in their bodies that they're going to get to exercise somewhere else. And it's going to be great when they do, because they also called Sean on stream, so that's just hysterical to me. But you can support their Twitch stuff and their t-shirts and all sorts of things. But yeah, we talked a little bit about the releases, especially Mustafa and Dolph yesterday, but the two of them, man, like, they're going to be great whether they go separately or together somewhere. You said it online, and it's so
I hope
true.
they get to run one of their ideas that they had as a tandem somewhere. Because they're really, really great.
Well, you know, Alex,
their energies played off. They play off so well off each other.
The thing that I hope most is just that, like, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is, are they going to be cosmetically cleared? Like, did that factor into this decision at all? Like, if AEW wants them, that's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are they going to be cosmetically cleared to show up in AEW? Is a huge issue. So
I don't know.
Well, we can only find out.
It is funny that Mansoor was pitching for himself the exact angle I wanted them to run with Mandy Rose when she first came to NXT, after she like got hit in the face. Yeah. And then she had plastic surgery, which was only included getting her hair dyed brown. But yes. I just love the idea of her insisting that one little mark on the tip of her nose, a tiny little scar, made her hideous, and she would not show her face to anyone, like that kind of a thing. And he was like, no, I want to do it as a gag. It'll be really funny. And honestly, I think they could have done it with Cody Rhodes, but had them move away from him and just extend the gimmick to whoever they were appearing in matches with.
Sure. I mean, they did so many of those mask gimmicks. They did it with Carmella and Sheamus and whatever. Good. Like, yeah, they've got great minds for this, and a ton of ability, and they're young too. Like, and they've got a bright future. I hope they find a home that is right for them.
Yep. More puns about veggies. Ronald Hollick says, Adam Coleslaw better than you, Beta Carotene. Chris Pereira just knocking him out of the park.
Banger after banger after banger.
Kale O'Reilly.
I miss him so much.
Chris Pereira was his RIP. He includes RIP with Shad Gasparagus.
Oh.
Chris Pereira also says Johnny Oregano. You have to use the British pronunciation for it to actually make sense, but I love it. Meet Norma says Sammy Cabbagehan, like Callahan Cabbagehan. But,
news about him on FightfulSelect.com, where you can get billed annually.
Mm-hmm. Jesse Ozog says Bok Choy Club member, the Swiss Chard Superman. Jesse Ozog says House of Black Radishes. Ronald Hollick says Parsnip Sabian. Robert Lyle says Fennel Balor. Meet Norma says GOA, the Gates of Arugula.
That's really good.
Gates of Arugula is great. Arugula is a wonderfully funny word. Robert Lyle says Johnny Garbanzos. Um, Bad Rocket says the Iron Leak. Meat Norma says corn on the Jeff Cobb. Jesse Ozog says Pumpkin Cassidy. And Chris Pereira says rhubarb Soho. And
on fire tonight, Chris Pereira.
Luis adds I got one. Rhubarb Juice Robinson.
Oh, very
Not
good.
rock hard, but rhubarb.
Here, I'll throw out a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Here's some vegan wrestlers if you want to play into this and take it to the next level. Did you know both skinny and heavier Walter / Gunther is vegan? As is, I think, Noam Dar. As is ESJ, as is Bryan Danielson. All my techers. I think Pete Dunne too. I might have made that one up. If you can get double points for any of those guys.
Chris Pereira also knocking it out of the park with a wonderful homonym. Crime Time. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and
so
Crime
good.
Time.
That's so good.
I love me a homonym.
I love me just like now we're getting like time. We're getting full on into herbs now.
Yeah,
Respect.
no, it's good. Some great stuff. Also good stuff. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Ludwig Kaiser. There, it's not great stuff though. Just have Imperium be good. Just have Imperium be good, like good enough to beat most people. Good enough to win almost every tag match they're in together. Good enough to beat most people because Fakey and Eichner. I mean Giovanni Vinci. It's a me, Giovanni Vinci. He is amazing, and the idea that they're the story is he's a scrub who can't win matches and actively screws up to stop Ludwig Kaiser from winning matches is insulting to literally everyone who's ever watched wrestling. I hate it so much.
Well,
I just don't like it.
I don't like the story, but I'm more okay with him losing to Tommaso Ciampa than
sure,
a lot of other
but
people.
And I understand why Gunther might be upset with that, but there, the thing is that I think that the story only works if we've seen Imperium and the singles members of Imperium win most of their matches. And then now, coming up against Tommaso Ciampa, they can't get it done, which overly frustrates Gunther. At this point, considering how they have consistently booked, especially Vinci and also Kaiser, for months now, he should be kind of used to these bumbling idiots effing up all the time, because that's all they ever book them to be. I feel like I've watched one, maybe two Ludwig Kaiser singles matches that they won and never seen Giovanni Vinci win anything. And so it is weird. Like, what do you expect? Like, you should have fired him months ago if you're going to be pissed at him now. That's you. You have a personnel management problem, Gunther. Like, this is who the guy is. That's stupid because he's great. And you watch him wrestle and you can see he's great. It's just a weird thing to me.
Has one of my favorite springboards in all of wrestling.
He's so
everything
good.
He does is so clean and explosive and crisp. Like, some of my favorite wrestling is fundamental stuff executed extremely well. Yep. A lot of my favorite stuff is. And he definitely fits that mold. And what's kind of not funny, haha, but like a little bit funny is like, I think out of the two of them, like, he's the in-ring guy. Like, he's the one that should be winning more. Ludwig Kaiser is kind of the one that should maybe have his head on the chopping block. I think Ludwig Kaiser's been very good in his role. I think it's your best impression. So I'm very excited about that aspect of it. But it's so weird because this has been the longest IC title reign in history, right? But it also, for some reason, feels too early for this dissension with them. And I think it's because what you're talking about. Like, we haven't had the creative build that leads to this, of the two of them being a dominant force. And then when they start to fall through the cracks, the leader being upset by it. So the foundation isn't there for the downfall aspect of it. But I would say like these three are probably some of the best NXT translations we've had in a really, really long time. So I'm very excited to see them frequently on my television. But there was a really simple solution that you've said and that I agree with of, if they had just split the tag titles, like if Kevin Owens and Sami had just dropped one set of titles to them, like that's the kind of group that you do want with a bunch of gold. I think even more so than Judgment Day, because Judgment Day is going to have the crutch of the overbooking. They don't need a ton of gold for that. Like they're already up in each other's stuff all the time. So you like don't actually need a bunch of titles. Dominant Force, these guys probably should have a lot of titles. So with you on that. But Ciampa and Giovanni Vinci, great match today. Very happy to see Ciampa in the mix. Where the hell is Johnny Gargano other than WWE headquarters, Alex? We got to talk about it because I don't understand. Whenever I think about him, I think about the reception he got back when he came in Toronto, and then what the hell have you done with him?
Yeah. The thing is that they one of the guys that was released was Dolph Ziggler. A few weeks ago when they were doing this amazing retrospective of all the former Intercontinental champions. One that everybody noticed was Jericho wasn't mentioned. Several-time Intercontinental champion Chris Jericho, but obviously it's just them being petty. But another one that wasn't mentioned and never shown was Dolph Ziggler, who was a 6-time Intercontinental champion.
He was mostly an Intercontinental champion.
Mostly. He was other things too, but he was that the most. And then he was released. I don't know if they were planning on releasing him when they didn't mention him, but it was a weird thing that I noticed at the time, and then all of a sudden, well, there you go. But tonight, Michael Cole mentioning everyone who is still with the company that had at one point held the North American Championship. The only two he did not mention were Cameron Grimes, who can't seem to find a way onto TV, but like held that title for like a month and a half. Right. And also the only 3-time North American champion, Johnny Gargano, was not mentioned.
Almost synonymous with the title. Like when you think of that era, you think Johnny Gargano with that title.
So odd that they would not mention Johnny Gargano. It does not seem like an accident. I am sorry that I am conspiratorial in that way. But it is it's just weird. But anyway, he is able to beat Ludwig Kaiser with a rising knee because Giovanni Vinci got hit with a knee and didn't roll out of the ring. He just stayed there, and the ref was like checking on him. And because of that, Ludwig Kaiser allowed himself to get distracted. It was just, it's the way that they book endings to matches. But immediately he's like, hey, Gunther, I want, let's sign the contract. Let's get a shot. And then they announced later, we're going to have Gunther versus Tommaso Ciampa at some point. They literally say at some point. We'll have the contract signing next Monday. There's a pay-per-view the following Saturday. At some point, they'll have the match, but we know when we're having the contract signing. So just put it, what you have Tommaso Ciampa and you have Gunther. Book it for the pay-per-view, for God's sake. Like, it can't be that difficult.
It can't be like the SmackDown before. Like, just put it on Fast Break.
Do it on the
paywall.
Do it on WWE Toll Booth. Do it on do it on Toll Booth, and then we'll get it out of the way. Luis asked the very important question: why are they booking Giovanni Vinci with the storyline that should be belonging to Dominik Mysterio? That's a very good question. But I don't know. Here's another thing. This is a great thing, and this is, I think, why you and I loved one of the reasons why you and I loved the first hour so much. Tegan Knox. They're addressing everything in perfect fashion. Like having her and Becky talking backstage, and Becky being like, I saw you there, that you wanted to come out, but you didn't. Why? It's like, well, Natty was there too, and she's the veteran, so I just kind of like let her go. It's like, you can't do that. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to take charge. You got to seize your moment and make it about you, because sometimes you have to do that in this business. And Tegan Knox says, I'll take your advice. So then she goes to talk to Adam Pearce about doing just that. And Natty's there, and she says, I assume that you were here to talk to him about me getting my rematch. And then they quibble about things. And then Adam Pearce is like, hey, you should have a match tonight about this, because I can't be in charge of settling disputes. Do you just, do that? And so then they do. And Tegan Knox beats Natty.
She does, and it's awesome. And we'll talk about it in a second, but everybody Saved by the Bell timeout, because here on the East Coast, it's officially Alex's birthday. Yeah. And the crowd goes wild. Happy birthday, Alex!
Good. That's very good. Thank you.
I don't know if we'll still be on by you when we're on. So
I know it's true, but it is. It's not my birthday yet here, but I will accept your birthday wishes in the future. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So nice. And we're going to celebrate for real on that NXT post show, because
tomorrow.
If you don't think I'm coming prepared for that, you are wrong.
I have a very special hat that I'm going to wear tomorrow.
Tegan Knox showing up. Perfect timing with your birthday, because this was awesome.
It was
Loved the interaction with her and Becky. Very happy to see her back in the ring. Very happy to see her getting used. Yep. Refreshing to see someone here, A, not getting squashed by Nia Jax, because Lord Almighty, and B, just like some fresh blood. Like it's nice to see.
Yeah.
Tegan Knox on screen here, and she looked happy and great, and this was awesome.
Yeah, I mean this does feel like, listen, if there's like maybe 3 or 4 people who get things done just by their say-so more than Becky Lynch, I'd be surprised. And her being like, no, we were going to do the thing last week. We're doing it this week. And it's not a single like one-off open challenge thing. You're giving her a story because she's great. And we're going to make a connection about how she left home to come here to do this because she believed in herself and she needed the opportunity to be able to show what she could do on a major stage. I can relate to that a little bit. Like having them be like 2 sides of the same coin is really interesting. I think it's great. Like they actually gave Tegan Knox a singles match that she got to win with her finisher, not some stupid distraction roll up. Like that's awesome. That's so cool. And this is continuing because, spoiler alert, Becky Lynch is going to beat Tiffany Stratton this weekend. They kind of all but said that was definitely happening. And so then we're going to have Becky versus Tegan Knox next week for the title, for the NXT title. And then we'll see what goes after that. But they are doing a lot with this particular person and another one we're going to talk about, Tiffany Stratton, and also Dragon Lee, of like, here is everything you need to know because they're going to be here sooner than later. Like they're doing a lot of introducing these people to the main roster audience. So that should be really good. I'm looking forward to that.
And you're right in that it always seems like Becky, she seems extremely professional in the way she goes about it. There's never any public hyping.
No.
The lemons at a lemonade thing, they made a t-shirt out of. Like she's really, really good at it. But it always felt to me like, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm giving my title to Asuka. Like she always feels very intentional and hey, if I'm your NXT champion, this is what we're doing. I really, really respect that about her.
Yep. We got from insert clever Tegan Knox pun. Finally, hashtag justice for Tegan. Yes, hashtag justice for Tegan.
It's your day, buddy. You were one of the first things I thought of. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm so happy for insert clever Tegan Knox pun guy in our chat. Legend.
This is great. Mike the jeweler says, Kate, once you get the suit from Bobbles, I got you on the watch, no problem, because he's Mike the jeweler. Hopefully he will send you one soon. And since we are shooting, I miss Will if he's somewhere here. Hi, Will. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening.
I got to see Will at Grand Slam briefly.
Yeah, he's busy. He's got stuff he's doing.
He's a busy fella. He's great.
Okay, here we go. More veggie puns. Although this one confuses me. Jungle Boy George. That is a pun, but not in the category. But I'll still take it because it's good.
I'll also say, look, if you give us money for things, we'll take
it. We'll take it for sure. Meet Normus says, "Sup, Parsnip? It's Eddie Kingstonian."
I'll knock your teeth right out your face, Parsnip.
Parsnip.
I love it.
HBD, you scrummy, scrumptious, sweet and sour man. That is me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bad Rocket says Zach Capers Jr.
The kinds of animals.
Robert Lyle says Chivo Guerrero.
Like chives? Chivo Guerrero?
Yeah. Chivo Guerrero. There you go. I don't. Yeah. Chivo Guerrero. Yes. Apex Caliber says, in the spirit of Halloween, CM Pumpkin.
In the spirit of a Halloween, like a spirit Halloween store, that's where that guy's career is right now. So
Apex Caliber also says Edgeplant.
You think you know me?
No,
for some reason, all I can think of is the mop and an eggplant.
That's true.
I can't even think of Adam Copeland anymore.
Hold on. It's this, but with purple strands.
Yeah, that's like what I'm thinking of. Basically.
It's just purple instead of white.
Green.
Purple. Yeah, purple.
And green where the blue is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what it should be.
You know me.
On this day, feeling dreamy.
We're just gonna leave him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
No, it's fine. No, leave him. We can hang out with Edge.
No. Feeling Dreepy says, Kate, we all know you are excited because Octecker starts off with Zucchini Scarpaccia Jr. versus Danielson. I couldn't think of a bad pun for Danielson. I'm very jealous you get to see it in person, but do you think you will be on the SGS post show?
I will do as soon as I can get back there. If they're having a media scrum, I probably won't because I'll probably be going to it. But if they're not doing a media scrum, I will definitely be on the SGS post show. But I'm very excited for both of the vegan techers that do pointy things in their entrances. Let's go.
Bizarro Big L says, it's okay, Alex. I'm in my early 30s and I got no idea about Doja Cat either. See? There you go.
I didn't know she had a song called
I didn't did not know that. I prefer the Bouncing Souls. Good song.
Hell yeah.
Oingo Boingo or Devo? The opposite of meaty men. Are we not meaty men? No, we are Devo. The opposite of meaty men slapping meat is stringy bean boys slapping beans.
I'll take it.
Maze Jalapeno Fiddlehead. MJF. And then N. Simmons says cilantro flare. And Robert Lyle says Al Snowpeas.
That's very good. I was trying to think of Shallot Flare was the other Charlotte one.
Yeah,
that was really good.
And Meat Norma says Chelsea collard greens and vegan Knox.
Oh,
I mean, it's just it was just sitting there the whole time we didn't do it. It was sitting right there. Really DNC Digital says came in at just the right time. Happy birthday! Thanks for your contributions here. Your interactions and for Linda. Hope you have a good one. Yes, me too. I also hope I have a good one. And thank you.
I heard you and Linda share a birthday.
Yes, but hers
many
many hundreds of years before mine.
I thought you and Ricky Rainbow did, but I have no idea what his birthday is because time is a construct in his world. So
no idea. Honestly, he may have been born in a different dimension.
I got Bouncing Souls fans in the chat. I'm very happy right now. I'm a hopeless romantic.
Who? Hey, Luis, clear up that the chat underneath Cody promo. I don't know what that word is starting out it. I don't know what that is in reference to. I will come back and do what I'll do there. Is that supposed to be Seth? Is that for this one? I think it's Seth. Yeah, Seth knew
we
what he was
can't
doing.
see.
Seth knew what he was doing, dropping the best in the world line.
Of course he did.
Okay, because I missed it. I did not actually hear that.
He's been campaigning for that since last WrestleMania.
Yeah, he
that guy is
I know
like
he definitely wants it. Seth Rollins came out, did his thing. He's dressed in his clothes that he does. But he wants an answer from Shinsuke Nakamura, who only addresses anybody via slickly produced vignettes that he speaks entirely in Japanese with subtitles. It's awesome, and I'm so angry at them for not figuring this out like 5 years ago. Like, it's perfect. It's the exact way this guy should have been presented from the first friggin' day on the job. It's so captivating. I cannot look away. Also, I feel like I'm learning Japanese. It's really cool because I was watching this whole thing, and he's so captivating the way that he constructs the full promo, what everything is, that he's like, it's your last day, it's your last time you're going to do this, your last time you're going to do that, because it's going to be a last man standing match. We had talked about the idea, I believe it was Cyclo in the chat, who said it should be Seth should lose via a ref stoppage. And
yes,
in the absence of that, a last man standing where he cannot get to his feet. He's not knocked out. He cannot get to his feet. Like, if you actually book it that way, like, he can't get up. He just can't. His body fails him. His heart is still there. His mind doesn't know why his legs won't help him stand. And he freaks out about it in the moment, but you got to count the 10. He can't stand up. That would be a really, really great way of getting to the exact same end. I will say this. Shinsuke Nakamura has to win this match at Fastlane. He has to. He has to. Or not only do you screw up the entire storyline, which has been going on really well in spite of the bad booking of the finish of the first match, but you kind of just neuter the entirety of the Shinsuke Nakamura character you've built over the past few months. Like, he's got to win this match. He's booked himself into a match where he would have to be beaten up really, really bad again to lose this match too. He's got to win it. And I would argue he's got to win it in very dominant fashion. And you have an awesome opportunity to really tell the story. Constructed by you, not like something you have to deal with after the fact. Not you. WWE has to deal with after the fact. Like, oh, Cody accidentally got injured, and we got to tell the story about him coming back after the fact. You can construct it yourself because it's a kayfabe thing, and have him come back to take the title back from Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know, WrestleMania or whatever. You could really do that. There's a really cool opportunity to tell the whole story of all of this. But if they just have Seth beat Shinsuke again, that's it. You just all the cool stuff you've been doing, it's all for naught to me. You know?
So I love this version of Shinsuke. It's so good. And I feel like the Shinsuke reboot being with Seth Rollins is just special. Like, it's it pulls all of Seth's strengths out and all of Shinsuke's strengths out, and neither of them have very many weaknesses at this. So it's just really, really wonderful. It's so compelling. I'm so drawn into these vignettes and this version of him. And God, I love my MJFs of the world, but like a menacing assassin heel, like this version of Shinsuke or Samoa Joe, like with that like cold, calm, collected. I am completely at peace with the fact that I'm going to hurt you guy is like my favorite type of heel that you can have. Yeah. Like, just love it. This is so, so great. I feel like Shinsuke has to win too. I don't know if they'll do it, but like if he just attacks Seth's back for like, I don't like last man standing matches. They're my second least favorite stipulation next to lumberjack matches. This story actually kind of begs for one. Like, this is actually really, really well done. And that's my thing with last man standing matches is they usually don't. This is actually the perfect opportunity. And I really like that about it. I'm so happy that Shinsuke in this piece of his career is finally getting something to sink his teeth into, because it was never that guy that was the issue with any of the creative. Like, this is the perfect match to what he kind of deserves here.
Yep. So like Seth responding to the challenge, like says that is you won. Like, you got exactly what you wanted when you wanted it. You outwitted me to get to this point, but you got to know that there's no way you can beat me in this because you've mentioned my children, my child, and my wife. Then I shall rise up and defeat you because now you give me motivation. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad you say that, Seth. But he has to lose this match. The story that you've decided to tell begs that he loses this match. He can win the feud stretched out over a long enough time, but you can put the title on Nakamura and like keep it on him for however long. The problem with it is that you now have this other thing to deal with that Luis brings up. I think Rollins wins at Fastlane, but gets cashed in on by Priest. Which, let me tell you how much that's going to suck. Like, it's nothing that different to do with Damian Priest, but you have built a perfect guy to take the title off of Seth Rollins. And you've as long as you have Roman Reigns having the championship and no one else is allowed to have it on one side of it, I just think the Money in the Bank should just be like, you have to keep it for 2 years. You can keep it for 2 years this time because no one's going to cash in on Roman, and you got this amazing thing going on with Seth right now. So there's a really I want Damon to keep it for a while, just so we don't have to end up just ruining a really cool, slickly told story with a very obvious this is how this should progress storyline, and if it does everything right, it's going to be great. To then be like, oh no, oops, this guy wearing purple got it, and it's just like, I don't want that. But
I don't want this for Damian Priest, but I want him to cash in and lose. I'm just so uninterested in Cindy or Money in the Bank at this point. Like, because it's just gotten too convoluted for me in Judgment Day. It's like you have all these moving parts and you have this device of cashing in on the title. It doesn't even feel like it's about the Money in the Bank anymore. It feels all about the relationship with JD McDonough. So at this point, I would rather JD McDonough costs him and Shinsuke wins and Shinsuke beats Damian Priest is like my ideal thing. I don't think that they'll do that, but
Simmons 211 says how this match should end. Shinsuke demolishing Seth. How I think this will end, sadly. Ricochet attacking Seth in a pointless but needed heel turn and then a cash in. Because Ricochet gets interrupted and like, I'm going to come after Shinsuke. Whether he wins or loses against Seth Rollins, I've got something to do to him because he's on crutches because Shinsuke hurt his leg last week. So Ricochet is angry. Angry Ricochet.
So angry. Alex, if your last man is standing but isn't looking so great, as can happen, if you're looking a little beat up and like you need to get cleaned up a little bit around your last man, there are certain tools that can help. Okay, if it's looking like you can't get back to your feet, well, darn it, Manscaped is here to help you clean up your little guy.
Let's be real. Big nasty pubes are gross. You want that tree to stand taller. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of landscaping. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of manscaping. With manscaped.com and that code FIFO, you're going to save 20% off your order and get free shipping. What a deal. And how about this? They've got a ton of deals on that site. They got a lot of bundles, a lot of packages to help out your package. But it's not just your package. It's your body. It's your hair. They got deodorant. They've got shampoo. They've got foot deodorant. They got ball toner. They got everything at manscaped.com. And when you use that code FIFO, get 20% off your order and free shipping. Just a plethora of different options. Maybe you want to try a little bit of everything. Maybe you just want to try one thing. Well, Manscaped and the code FIGHTFUL will get you there. Make that tree stand taller and trim it up a little bit with Manscaped.
Clean up the eggplant.
Robert Lyle knows.
So as Luis said, no matter how good the first hour was, perhaps this entire episode might have turned out to be good. But if one particular thing happens that was bad, everything sucks. And this is how I know. This is how I know that I have taught him well. If one thing goes bad among other things that are good, it's an all or nothing proposition. I like the way you do business. Dominik retained versus Dragon Lee. The story they were telling was that everybody was very nervous in the Judgment Day about losing their titles while Mommy was away. Dragon Lee and Dominik, they did a whole, a really long, very elaborate little vignette of this is who Dragon Lee is. Get used to this guy. He's a big time player. He's going to be up on the main roster sooner rather than later. I guess maybe. I don't know what their plans are for No Mercy now that Mustafa Ali got released, because he's supposed to have a one-on-one title match with that guy. But Dom was always going to win this match because the match was because Mustafa Ali was apparently supposed to interfere in this match with Dragon Lee and Dominik, making that match on Saturday become a triple threat, which then would allow for a lot of other options for them to do. Mr. Showtime says, wow, best Dominik match ever. Well done, both guys. And I will say yes to the first one. I will say that Dragon Lee dragged Dominik to the best match of his career. If people, I see people, they got to run in this back. This is them running it back. They've already done it on NXT.
Nobody watches NXT but us, though.
But I mean, this is the second time they've done it. The first time was not good. Not nearly as good. It was not a good match. This was I would say a very good match, and showed Dominik. Everyone's like, oh no, he's actually really good. You're too hard on him. Okay, in this case, I will say, all right, fine. Okay, fine with this one. But Dragon Lee's amazing. They're also the same friggin' age. You know what I mean? Dragon Lee's so good in the ring. And got a very good match out of Dominik. The first time they had a match, it was bad. It was not a good match.
This was also agented better too. This just was and I think Dragon Lee, it's almost like he took a temperature the first time and was like, okay, I need to go a lot slower with him and whatever. Mm-hmm. They worked out a lot of the kinks. This was probably Dominik's best match. I think
nothing even comes close.
Well, everybody said the Seth Rollins match from the Thunderdome era, but I actually don't remember.
The story they were telling was that it was Seth beating up a 15-year-old. And how good, man, this is Dominik Mysterio. I mean, he's basically he's just out of middle school. And I can't believe how good he is. He was 23 years old at the time, but they were telling a story that he was a child, and he's holding his own against a former WWE champion, and that was the story they were telling. So the bar was so low in that match. All Seth had to do was allow him to not fall on his face 4 or 5 times, and Seth's great. So that's what happens. Now the bar has been set because everyone keeps telling me how great Dominik is for real. You're way too hard on him. And now, if that's what the bar is, this is it. We know he's got this match in him. This is the bar now. He must approach this bar that has been set by himself. And if he doesn't, well, then he's just not trying. He's also still got the slowest 619 in the history of.
Yeah, the 619's not good.
You should stop doing it. But yeah.
Frog Splash is a lot better. He's gotten better. This was the biggest.
Yes.
leap forward for sure. I feel like there are people though that it's kind of a human cheat code, and Dragon Lee is one of them. So we'll see if he can hold up. But this was a very encouraging sign. It was refreshing to see.
And it was a fantastic coming out party for Dragon Lee.
Yes. So I was just going to say the other piece of this is that Dragon Lee absolutely rules. I've gotten to see him in a lot of other promotions. I've gotten to see him and we cover NXT. So I've gotten to see him there. If this is your first time getting to see him, I'm glad you got to see this because he's great. He's extremely well-rounded. He's a lot more than just like lucha flippy stuff. Like he's very psychologically sound. He hits very hard. He's great. And if the plan is to move him up to the main roster, I think he could be a really nice injection, especially on Raw, to have somebody that moves the way that he does. I think is something that could be really, really great. So this was very good. I think we had kind of talked about it in our DMs a little bit, but I feel like you had raised the point that Cody beat Dominik in 2 minutes. This makes Dragon Lee look kind of...
I thought it was 4. I was being very charitable to Dominik. I went and I looked, the match time, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Cody Rhodes just said, "Get out of here, kid. You don't belong in the ring with me." And if that's what Cody Rhodes does, now Cody Rhodes if Cody Rhodes is that good, he should have a friggin' title on him. Because Dominik has a title on him.
Cody Rhodes is someone who took off his jacket and scared 3 members of the Bloodline at once.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
This is Cody freaking Rhodes we're talking about.
I'm sorry to use the theory of the transitive property. But if Cody Rhodes beats Dominik in 2 minutes, clean, 1 week, and the following week, a different guy loses to Dominik, then that guy looks like ass. And I'm like, you got to figure out a way to tell a better story than that. Like it just does not work, man.
So I agree with you. I think their justification for it is this guy is also an NXT talent. You and I know what Dragon Lee are capable of. We saw it also in the ring, but we've also known his career for a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
So I think their idea is like he's an NXT talent making his main roster debut. I prefer people winning their main roster debut, but I kind of get it from the perspective of what they're telling us versus what we know he's capable of. So that's what I think their justification is.
Yeah. Apex Caliber says, "Is this Dom's first heel win with no interference?" And Luis says he beat Tozawa twice clean.
And he had a clean win in NXT, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's even his clean wins require him to like drop somebody on their balls on the top rope. Like that is how he wins clean. But without an actual interference, like somebody hitting some guy in the head with a belt. Yes, I believe it was Tozawa twice and then some guy on NXT, which did not speak well for that person either.
Correct.
Jonathan Corona saying, just left the Toyota Arena where when we booed Dom, I was dying laughing. We hated him here, but Dom versus Lee was chef kiss, but I'm going to riot for Lee. Damn. Yeah, Dragon Lee's amazing.
He's great.
And is, he's so excellent. And as evidenced by this particular feat to get this match out of Dominik.
Yes.
And this is where the whole thing fell apart. Like even the match was really good, even though if I didn't like the ending, but this is where the whole night just fell apart. Okay, Nia Jax. Nia Jax gets interviewed and she just names people that she squashed, and she just says something squash. Yep.
Rhea Ripley squash. Piper Niven squash. Chelsea Green squash. I don't want to be like so hard on someone who it's their first match in promo back, but like, whoa, this was not good. She sounded so robotic, and also I thought the content was not good because you didn't squash all those people. You didn't face all those people. No. You went in and you punished them while they were already in a match. Like that's not a squash in wrestling terms is you face them, you smush them, you face them, you squish them, you face them, you smush them. This was really, really rough, and she did not sound natural or good at all here, and the match was not good.
Robert Lyle says Nia Jax might have squashed everyone, but when she speaks, the crowd turnips the booze.
Ah,
So
turnips the booze.
turnips the booze. So yeah, the promo was bad. That she's here and she's going to squash everybody. And I was like, yeah, those are all pretty important people. Raquel, who was positioned as the
What the
top
hell
challenger.
did they do to Zoe Stark?
Rhea, who's the champion. I would say certainly in the minds of WWE positioned as a higher on the overall totem pole champion than Io Sky. She is the most important woman in WWE, and she got ribs broken or whatever it is that they've done for her. And then you have Chelsea Green, who's doing great work as one half of the tag champs. The other half of the tag champs is an actual good version of Nia Jax, and that's Piper Niven. And then you have two separate women who you spent all summer building into something really cool. You have Zoe Stark, who got the rub from working with Trish all spring and summer, had really great matches with Becky Lynch, and then finally said, good, she's the one. Not Becky Lynch didn't send Trish out. Zoe Stark got to send Trish out. When Zoe Stark got tired of getting pushed around by Trish, and she hit her with her finisher and sent Trish packing. That was a major statement you said on behalf of Zoe Stark. And then Zoe Stark now tag team partners on a, like, I think you're a badass, you think I'm a badass, let's be badasses together tag team with Shayna Baszler, which had all kinds of legs. Could have done a lot of really cool stuff with that. Shayna Baszler, who you have decided is the new baddest woman on the planet because she's the one who choked out Ronda Rousey and sent Ronda Rousey out of WWE. You told that story. You said these women are very important. All 6 of the people, the women that Nia Jax has squashed, are all, you told us, very important people. So what you are now telling us is that Nia Jax is more important than all of those people. I would even say all of them put together. And yet you knew when you hired her that she was this. Wooden promos and really bad in the ring. So Zoe Stark comes out to confront her and does like a really cool, like, you don't get to push me around. At least not without me like hitting you back a few times. And I think that's a really cool little nobody bullies the bully of Zoe Stark kind of a thing. I think that's a really cool little character to give her. But what does it end up doing is it's just Nia Jax staggering around the ring, moving slowly, and Zoe Stark having to sell for her until she ends up getting sat on. And I mean, like, I don't know why did you do all of what you did with Zoe Stark if this is the way you're going to treat her afterwards?
And she was racking up losses before Nia came in too. She's lost like a few in a row. Unfortunately, yeah, like Nia didn't look good in this. Like she didn't look good in the ring at all. Her selling was really bad in this. It just didn't show up, unfortunately. And I will say, like, I feel like when you're a wrestler of a certain stature, selling is really hard to make look believable. Like that's a completely different thing. That's what always amazes me about Miro. It's unbelievable to me that a guy of his stature can sell the way he does and make it feel so believable, whether he's in there with Bryan Danielson or someone his own size. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like she wasn't great the first time around, right? So I'm not like, my hopes are not that high, but it's like if you bring in someone with such a level of dominance, I would prefer that their ability match that to some extent. Like if we had never seen Rhea Ripley before, Rhea Ripley came back, if she was in this spot, I would be like, oh hell yeah, right? Like because it's
right.
But the ability doesn't match the positioning in the slightest, so it's rough.
So yeah, it's not great there, but Yeah, see, this thing is that so I don't know what the plans are for Nia, but it does seem very short-sighted to have her squash all these people. If she's what you're going to do is then give her a title match versus Rhea, and Rhea beats her, because Rhea is beating Nia. You're not putting the title on Nia. Rhea has to get through Nia so that Rhea has the title when she faces Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. But you're given Rhea, nominally a heel character, some babyface adversity to get through Nia before she can face Becky Lynch, which is an interesting thing to do. But like, after Nia loses to Rhea, then what is she? Then what? Because like as Luis says, so Nia loses to Rhea, then to Jade, and then back down to the mid card. You know, like
Ricardo, we're gonna need you to send in a different chat. No, you didn't say anything egregious. We just aren't gonna read.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not reading dunks on talent without substantial criticism with them. I think you probably put Nia in a tag team, right? Like, I think that's where she ends up. But then why are we taking this route to get here?
You already had Nia Jax on the roster and a much better version of her in Piper Niven. And you had just brought her back and put her in a really interesting spot working with Chelsea Green to shore up that tag division. It's really interesting. But then you had to bring back Nia Jax so she could squash Raquel. Is she going to go through Raquel before she goes through Rhea? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't. And it's funny too, because it's like, if you're going to have her be so dominant,
right?
There's not a women's stable on Raw either. Like, if you want to have someone be dominant, her going through all of Damage Control, I would hate it. But her going through all of Damage Control would kind of make sense until she got to the head of Bayley or whatever, or things like that. Like, if there were bones she could pick of a stable, that would be a better way to go about it.
Nia, this is the thing about Nia, is that the way that you are booking her that goes back to the territories, where you would like bring in a monster to work for 3 months with your top star, and once the top star beats them, they leave the territory. But they got paid for 3 months and they did their job and they move on. That's what the territories used to be. You can't do that if you sign people for several years. You just like have them come back, work an angle, and then that angle fizzles out, but they're still around doing what? Like, we all saw who they were, who you were booking them as a couple of months ago. But now that is over, now they're just like somebody else in catering.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work very well. Jey Uso gets dapped up by Byron Saxton. I don't know if there was a lot of substance to this. He just, Kevin Owens, I got to prove myself to him some more or whatever. But has substance. Drew McIntyre.
Hell yeah. I love this.
Drew McIntyre doesn't have a Matt Riddle to turn heel on anymore. So he's going to do it on Kofi Kingston. And wow, doesn't that feel a lot worse to me? You know what I mean? Like, oh, how dare you? Kofi Kingston's a national treasure. If he turned heel on Matt Riddle, I'd be like,
nice. I would have done the same thing, buddy. If I was that much bigger than that guy. Yep.
Now
the matches I would have liked to have seen, admittedly. Like, I would have very much liked to have seen Matt Riddle in the ring versus Drew. But like, as far as evoking heel versus face emotions around it, yeah, this is a much more effective way to go about business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So him on Miz TV is just Miz is saying a bunch of stuff like, I would have done the same thing. And Drew's like, karma's a bitch. And says, so you're Batman and Cody Rhodes is Superman. And I was like, oh, I love that. Why did you have to have Miz come up with that? Figure somebody else who I don't think
I've been on the Miz train for a little bit now.
But like, I love the idea of them presenting Cody as the all-American can do no wrong, goody two shoes, and then just this like out of the shadows has a very strict like this is right and this is wrong, and I'm the only one who gets to blur those lines because I know what's best for everybody. Drew McIntyre, it's great. It's a great thing for Drew, but they're not letting him sit in that really interesting version of the gray area, because by the end of this thing he is fully healed. By the end of tonight, he fully went heel.
We've been slow burning it for like 6 months,
right? But I thought that anyway, the stuff he was doing before, I was like, listen, I totally understand his thing. Last week we saw the struggle of whether he was going to
that is true,
save Jey Uso, who he does have a problem with, and you can track it back for a year to Clash at the Castle. It makes sense. Tonight, he has like Kofi and Xavier come out to talk to him, and the Miz keeps answering for Drew, and Drew just keeps saying, "Shut up, Miz! Shut up, Miz!" Just keeps in different ways. It was the greatest thing ever.
It was really, really, really good because I like that. I like when heels have issues with other heels sometimes, like,
oh yeah,
like Miz is a heel and he's like, just shut up though. Like, this is my fight, not yours on your dumb TV show. Like I love it.
There are there need to be, and I'm always a big proponent of this. There are different factions within heeldom that do not get along.
100%.
And not just like factions, like in a wrestling sense,
types
but like
of heels, yeah.
Types of heels. Like there's no way that Drew McIntyre would have any time for the heel that the Miz is. No. Yeah. So him eventually, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Punched in the face. That's great. And him basically like calling out Kofi, let's do it right now. If you're feeling froggy, let's jump. So then the match between Kofi and Drew is great. Like Drew chopping him down and Kofi collapsing and Drew just standing there being like, I didn't want to do this, but you made me do it. Like, it's just, he's so he's just weary of having to be the guy to dish out your punishment. Like, that's some really, really good stuff. I really like what they're doing with Drew right now. But I guess Eric's out for a while.
I guess so, yeah.
Because they had Ivar come out by himself, attack Xavier, which distracts Kofi Kingston long enough for Drew to win, hit the Claymore on Kofi. And then Ivar gets in to look at to come to try and go after Kofi, and Drew, who like 3 weeks ago wanted nothing more than to beat the absolute dog piss out of Ivar, says, "Yeah, sure, you can have him. I don't want him. I'm done.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want." Like he's like he should have also then decided to fight Ivar on general principle, just because you decided to stick your nose in my match. If he was going to be really the gray area guy who doesn't care who he punches as long as he gets to punch somebody. But him saying, "Sure, Ivar, you can do whatever you want to this guy I just laid out," while he like just walks to the back without a regard for anybody. He's fully gone over to the dark side. And it'll be interesting to see what this version of heel McIntyre is. Like, we've seen a very, very boring version of heel McIntyre in the past in the main roster, and I this gives me a lot of hope that it won't be.
Yeah, this is forward. A lot more compelling.
Yeah.
You know what's so great about Drew? His versatility. I feel like his physicality, we've seen him be different types of heels. We've seen him be different types of faces. One might say he's the NordVPN of the WWE roster. And Sean Ross Sapp is here to draw those comparisons further, because he's going to tell you all about how it's the most versatile and highest value VPN in the game.
There is no product that we have promoted more on Fightful that I use while I'm awake than NordVPN.com/Fightful. You guys have probably seen me anchored to my desk an awful lot for quite a while. and I've always got NordVPN on all my devices. That's because that's what NordVPN.com/Fightful allows. You get the fastest VPN in the world on all your devices, on all your operating systems. It is so beneficial to have that versatility. Here at home, I put it on my router just in case, and I put it on my phone, laptop, desktop, PC, and smart TV. That allows you to get all the benefits. The online threat protection, the ability to change your virtual location with just one click, the ability to use that NordPass password manager, the file encryption tool, all that good stuff on everything. Also, you can subscribe to all those overseas services I'm telling you all about, all with 24/7 tech support and a 30-day money-back guarantee on top of an already amazing deal. Protect yourself on all your devices with NordVPN.com/Fightful.
Protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The same way Roddy Strong protects his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to look out for it.
More veggie puns. Meet Norma says, the Impact Post Show, anchored by Joel Pearl Onion and Watercresta.
Watercrest is a deep cut. I like it.
Alpha Bill says, Ray Fennel and Prince Banana. Yes, it's a fruit.
That's okay. I said Brian Banan Nielsen before.
Alpha Bill says, Chris Salader. Statlander.
Oh, I was thinking like a boy. I'm not looking at them.
Mark Quince. Mark Quinn.
Very good. Okay.
Matt Mallard. That's a duck pun.
That is a duck
pun. R. Harris says the grape collie. Jesse Ozog says the bulldog artichoke to acorn squash a jobber. Pieces says Kazuchika Okrada.
That's really good.
And Knocked Out Film says Noam Parsley.
Very good. Very good. Oh,
That's
I love
good.
me some Noam
That's
Dar.
good. Matthew Plus says congrats on another successful trip around the sun. And then he says something I won't repeat. So
Why, he was just talking about 15 pens.
Yeah, 15 pence is what he said.
Pen 15.
NCB says hashtag SGS for life. Thank you for life. And the just more Judgment Day drama. Just stupid
drama.
Stuff. Just stuff. And then we get Finn Balor and Damian Priest defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Owens. Michael Cole. I thought, because I was like, did he say Kevin Zayn and Sami Owens? Because no,
they're both Owens.
I would get it. But no. They decided to become brothers. That was so awesome. That was so or they got married. That's awesome too. They were in California.
Awesome,
that's really great. Kevin Owens and Sami Owens.
All right, they're engaged or related. We don't know.
They had a great match that ended with a bunch of shenanigans when Dom came out and
no way.
And then JD McDonuts came out, and then Jay came out, and then Cody came out, and there was just a whole there were so many shenanigans. Just I'm calling shenanigans on other shenanigans. That's how many shenanigans there were. And it's just, oh man, I just don't know. Just so much. And like
I've just seen it so many
JD
times before.
Almost cost, like I was like, oh, this is the story. Finally, you're going to have something is really going to happen between in the Judgment Day. You're going to force Finn to make a choice while trying to help. While trying to help, I see it too.
It's an S-tier pun, sorry.
While trying to help, JD McDonuts is going to accidentally cost them the titles. And then you're going to have Damian Priest is like, I'm going to murder this kid. And Finn Balor is going to have to stand up for his protege, JD McDonuts. or just say, I can't help you. I got to wash my hands of this whole thing. You force Finn Balor to make a choice, because right now he just gets to sit on the fence and not do anything either way. And I thought, oh my God, if they actually force some real, actual drama, not made up pretend high school stuff, but real drama in the Judgment Day, that would be great. But instead, no. Now it's going to be, is Kevin Owens going to find some way to blame Jey Uso for this? Because nothing can be done without somebody blaming something.
He was like a sacrificial lamb out there today, though. I don't know how you blame the guy. He was like, I'm here to get punched.
Yeah, but anyway, so the whole thing devolves into a giant brawl. And it's the 25th of September. And War Games is like 2 months from now. So we already have the teams for War Games right now. Like, listen, there's got to be a middle ground between like announcing your Survivor Series teams the week, the Saturday before during college football
on social
Twitter, and like just broadcasting it with zero subtext. This is who the War Games teams are gonna be 2 months in advance on Raw. Isn't there some way
they didn't even have their blue chew and they arrived so early?
It's true. That's true. Jonathan Corona says, and that main event in person, though, at the arena, holy shit, we exploded, but goddamn, what a good main event.
The match was ridiculous.
The match was great. And
unfair.
Even after all the shenanigans, when it looked like everything had gone to the point where now it's just the 4 guys in the ring, and that's it. Everyone else has been accounted for. They're out of it. Damian Priest ends up in perfect position to take a haluva kick, and Sami Zayn does, and then Sami Zayn gloats, just sits there for a while with his leg draped over the turnbuckle for a way longer than he normally does, waiting for JD to come up and hit him with a tag belt, which then allows him to fall back right next to Priest, who rolls over and covers him, and the ref counts the 1, 2, 3. And I was watching this going like, wait a minute, what happened to Kevin Owens? Where the hell's Kevin Owens? What horrible casualty befell Kevin Owens that he was unable to get in the ring and break up the cover? Damian Priest lightly tossed him between the second and third rope, and he went to the floor. Like, it's like you gotta help out the guys when you're agenting the match and figure out some reason why Kevin Owens wouldn't have done something to help, because that was egregious.
Okay, it wasn't great, but I will say I think people underestimate how much it probably hurts to go through ropes and just fall on the floor. That seems more painful than people give it credit for. Sami Zayn is maybe the best wrestler in the world at eliciting hope.
He is. He's so
like
good.
There were a couple of times I bit at this because there's been dissension with the Judgment Day, and we've seen it so many times. I know what's happening here, but like there were a couple of moments where it had you believe for a second, which is all that I ask, and most of them were because Sami Zayn's just so good at his job. Finn Balor's such a little machine in the ring, man, just ridiculous. A lot of when he does a coup de grace and like stands up on the, I can't even fathom. Like, how can you do that with your body? That's insane.
He sticks the landing like Kerry Strug. Like, yeah. I just
on
don't
human flesh and organs and bones, like not a flat surface, but he stands up. Yep. Just crazy, and everybody else in this match is great too. It just felt like Finn really, really stuck out today. Damian Priest did great work, but Sami he makes you believe, man. I love it. I love it so much. So, I'm just, would like to see something else at some point in the next 2 months. That would be neat.
Yeah. Simmons says, this time last year, Sami was starting to become a top guy that people wanted to beat Roman. Almost a year later, he's been pinned in the last 3 matches.
Yeah, I will say the way WWE seems to tell us people are top guys is not with wins and losses.
I know.
So I think they still view him as a top guy, which is a good thing, dog. What are you doing, doggy?
They do.
Go away.
You guys can try if you'd like, but you're not gonna beat this pun.
My God.
Sorry. You can keep going if you want.
We'll
but
take your money. But how are you beating Green Bean?
Robert
Okerlund?
Lyles says Green Bean Okerlund.
Not a wasted syllable in the bunch.
Green Bean
Okerlund.
Okerlund. Well, let me tell you something, Green Bean.
Man.
Because this is something we also do over on the Tuesday show. Ricardo the Firefly has put some money in the jukebox.
Yes.
And he wants
Am I involved?
No.
Yes.
It's
Sorry, my throat really hurts today.
No, it's William Regal.
Oh, it's been a while since William Regal stopped by.
See if I can find the lyrics to this myself here. Seems like I'm going to sing myself happy birthday. Let's see here. There we go. This is from an episode of The Simpsons, so you will know exactly what song it is. It is from an episode of The Simpsons. This is the song "Happy Birthday, Lisa," and originally as sung by Michael Jackson. Literally, they got him to do the voice of the character on the show, and then they never credited him. It's a very interesting little thing. But anyway, here we go. This is William Regal singing "Happy Birthday, Lisa" to myself from Ricardo Firefly. Here we go. Lisa, it's your birthday. God bless you this day. You gave me the gift of a little sister, and I'm proud of you today. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. I wish you love and goodwill. I wish you peace and joy. I wish you're better than your heart desires and your first kiss from a boy. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. It's your birthday, Lisa. Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. But most of it is just saying happy birthday, Lisa. They say the thing about kissing a boy again, which seems weird because she's 8.
Well, maybe that's why they didn't want to credit Michael Jackson. Alex, I feel like we have to waste 2 minutes.
2 minutes so it could be at my actual birthday in this time zone?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What do you want to? So, what do you want to talk about?
So,
do you have any more figures you want to show people?
Oh wait, yes, I do have one. It's I have actually three. They all came today. But I already unboxed them, but I haven't unbubble wrapped this one.
Well, put Bryan Danielson in that.
All right, there we go. All right. It's the Blackheart Ciampa.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool one. He's got the he's got the gray in the
nasty
beard and
shield
everything.
thing.
It's great.
So good.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then I decided to pick up the Hurt Business because one of them is no longer with the company. But back when they were the Hurt Business and they were awesome together, why the hell would you ever break up the Hurt Business?
I don't know.
Look,
they broke it up again after being together for like a minute and a half, though. So
now it's all of them. I don't have MVP though. Should I get MVP? I should get MVP.
You should probably get MVP.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're down to seconds now until it goes.
I know.
There we go.
We're gonna watch it flip over.
Come on.
Everybody get your.
Hey!
Yay!
Yay!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to me!
I'm 40. Happy birthday!
I'm 44 years old. I'm such an old man.
No, that's like an angel number or some shit. I'm sure in white girl world.
It is weird being old enough that I vividly remember my own father at this age.
Yeah.
Because I am now old enough to Because like in 3 more years, I will be as old as my father was when I graduated high school, and that will be very odd. Like
That's a weird one.
that will not. I will not. That will not be able to be okay with that. So. Okay,
Tiffany
we go.
sings "Happy Birthday" Tony Storm style to Ludwig. How do I
What?
sing it Tony Storm style?
I mean,
I can sing it Tony Stratton style, but just tell you to watch for the shoe after.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Chin up, tits out. Watch for the shoe. Happy birthday to you.
That's how it should go from now on.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Chin up, tits out. Watch for the shoe.
And many more shoes.
Oh, wow. That is great.
Man.
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We're going to celebrate proper tomorrow on the NXT post show.
We
You
are.
can join us for that at like 10:15 Eastern because they have an overrun over there.
Yes.
But feel free to join us. We'll be celebrating Alex's birthday. Champa.
Yeah.
Because there's always shenanigans on that show. Never mind
There's
birthday shenanigans.
So much. I hope Sean appreciates his extra super chats he got on the Raw show tonight because we got puns for him.
We got puns for days.
And now he's going to have to
Green
start.
Bean Okerlund.
He's going to have to start taking puns on the regular shows because he sees how lucrative it is.
We are. Yeah. We're sinking our teeth in and we're spreading.
That's right.
Thank you for joining.
Like a bacterial infection, we are spreading.
Huh? Kay and Alex, the bacterial infection of Fightful.
Everything sucks. I mean, not really. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday! Toodles!
Keep cool, gobble.